Welcome back to the news at 10. A civil society organization, the Election Monitor, is asking the National Assembly to investigate the postponement of the 2016 Edo State governorship election. At a media briefing in Abuja, the national coordinator of the group, Mr. Abiodun Ajijola, explained that the Electoral Act states that an election can only be postponed when there is a serious breach of peace, natural disaster, or an emergency. He added that when the 2015 general election was postponed, the Independent National Electoral Commission was duly informed of a security threat, particularly posed by the terrorist activities, contrary to the case in Edo State.
And we saw that there were some level of inconsistencies given, because we were informed that there was an assurance of the election going on based on adequate security provision. And a few hours later, we were also informed that there was a terrorist threat, it could not occur. So all this makes it to become a little bit confusing, and we wonder what is going on. And that's why we say that this 2015 election was postponed. And when it was postponed, a lot of Nigerians were not happy. But there were many differences. At that time, we talk about issues of availability of a letter. There was a letter that was written to the chairman INEC from the NSA, National Security Advisor, and it was specific, 4 states in the Northeast with 6 weeks for the operation. But in this case, there was no letter. The INEC chairman heard about it on social media. So the challenge is that it's a very different situation now than what we had in the other time.
And ahead of the Supreme Court judgment on the Kogi State governorship election next week, the State Police Command has issued a warning to deal decisively, but in accordance with the law, anyone caught taking laws into his hand. The State Police Commissioner, Abdullahi Chafe, issued the warning while addressing newsmen in his office in the state capital.
Intelligent information we had, all the 2 major political parties are consulting with their supporters either to express their happiness or otherwise. I call on all law-abiding citizens of Kogi State to go about their lawful duties or lawful means as all security measures are being put in place to safeguard the lives and properties of good citizens of Kogi State.
With the country faced with a recession, the federal government has continued to explore the potential of every sector to generate revenue. One of such is the creative industry, which the Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, says has huge promises and does not require huge investments to thrive. The minister was speaking during a meeting with State Commissioners of Culture and Tourism ahead of the 2016 Abuja Carnival.
State Commissioners of Culture and Tourism across 36 states of the Federation are meeting with the Minister of Information and Culture to put final touches ahead of this year's Abuja Carnival. This is the first time the Carnival will be holding under the present administration, and the government is making every effort to see it succeed.
I have already said that the ministry will provide leadership in this direction to ensure that we can provide as much as possible to ensure that the 2016 Carnival is a world-class event. If we can think it, we can do it.
We must make this 2016 Abuja Carnival the carnival of all carnivals.
The Minister of Information and Culture believes that the creative industry, if properly harnessed, can rescue the nation from the present recession.
The creative industry, I think, has come of age. And given the circumstances we find ourselves in Nigeria today, I'm talking about the economic situation, I think it's becoming more and more imperative for us to harness the creative industry to shore up the economy of Nigeria.
The carnival is expected to start on November 19, and the ministry says it is expecting at least 1 million persons at the event.
Let's cross over now to our business studios, where Anne Nwawodo is standing by with the day's business news stories.
Well, thanks a lot, Harriet. Welcome to Business News. The Monetary Policy Committee of the Central Bank of Nigeria will hold its 5th meeting of the year next week in Abuja, the nation's federal capital territory. The 2-day rate-setting meeting is expected to focus on the state of the Nigerian economy and decide on key monetary policy parameters. Analysts at Mary Stem Research expect the MPC to maintain the rates at the current level due to the possibility of a long recession period. For analysts at Time Economics, the rising spate of non-performing loans ratio in the banking system will top the agenda, as this could have significant implications on the overall health of the financial system. The CBN Governor, Mr. Godwin Emefiele, will announce the outcome of the meeting on Tuesday, September the 20th. U.S. ratings agency Standard & Poor's has lowered its long-term foreign and local currency sovereign credit ratings on Nigeria from B+ to B. S&P says this is due to low oil prices and a severe shortage of forex, as the debt office prepares to issue Nigeria's first Eurobond since 2013. Meanwhile, the rating agency has revised Nigeria's sovereign credit outlook from negative to stable, but expects real GDP growth to contract by 1% in 2016, 2% recovery in 2017, and a 4% growth in 2018. The downgrade is the latest blow to Nigeria's economy, which shrank by 2.4% in the last 2 quarters of this year. ConOil has released its half-year report for this year. The major oil retailer describes this year's performance as outstanding, with a 196% increase in profit before tax from 528.5 million naira in 2015 to 1.56 billion naira in 2016. Another major high point of the 6-month earnings report was the 190% increase in profit after tax from 359.4 million naira in 2015 to 1.04 billion naira in 2016, while earnings per share also jumped from 52 kobo to 150 kobo. ConOil attributes this performance to innovative means of manufacturing and distributing products, huge financial investments in developing high-performance products, and improved services in the downstream oil sector. It was a short trading week at the Nigerian equities market owing to a 2-day national public holiday on Monday and on Tuesday, while the bulls dominated the market with the key index appreciating by 1.02% to close at 27,858.48. Gains were recorded throughout the week. Total volume traded declined by 48.3% to 611.52 million shares, valued at 5.49 billion naira, and traded in 9,650 deals. 33 gainers were led by ConOil, while NIMEF led 25 other losers. Banking stocks dominated market activities by volume, with FCMB, FBN Holdings and GT Bank collectively accounting for 39.57% of total volume traded during the week. Let's now move to the interbank market, where lending rates ended the week higher amid a lingering liquidity crunch with an increase of 25.76%. System liquidity worsened from the previous week with a negative balance of 128 billion naira following net outflows from issuances of government securities. The sum of 149 billion naira from OMO bills is set to mature into the system, but that will happen next week, and the market is expected to take a cue from the outcome of the MPC meeting. And from the interbank market to the currencies market, where the naira appreciated against 3 currencies Well, the local currency closed at 308 naira 69 kobo to the dollar, 406 naira 75 kobo to the pound, and 361 naira 83 kobo to the euro. But at the parallel market, the naira closed at 425 naira to the dollar, 545 to the pound, and 470 against the euro. Well, dealers expect the local currency to remain stable next week at both the interbank and the parallel markets. And that's business news for tonight. Thank you for watching. I'm Anne Mwawadu. Back to you, Harriet.
Thanks, Anne. The federal government is seeking partnership with the Chinese government to build housing estates for about 87,000 federal civil servants across the country. The head of service of the Federation, Mrs. Winifred Oyeta, explains that part of the agreement is for a single-digit interest rate mortgage that civil servants can pay. She said this at a meeting with the chairman of the China Africa Development Fund in Abuja, where she also explained government's decision to partner with the Chinese government instead of looking inwards for funding.
The Federal Integrated Staff Housing Program, it's a welfare package for civil servants. We have about 87,000 civil servants already, federal civil servants. So you can be sure that you have quite a significant amount of people who would be off-takers to any housing project that you would want to engage in. The areas that we would want you to consider and collaborate with is in the area of mortgage finance for the civil servants who would want to take up the loan, and construction finance as well for developers.
The Anambra State Governor Willie Obiano has inaugurated a 10-member panel of inquiry to look into the prolonged land dispute between some communities in the state. The panel, which has Justice Chinyelu Anibogu as the chairman, has been directed to painstakingly determine the immediate and remote causes of the disturbances in these communities that have degenerated to a big crisis which has claimed a life.
The inauguration of the panel of inquiry takes place at the Governor's Lodge. The task before them is to unearth the reason or reasons of these communal clashes. The panel is also saddled with the responsibility of fishing out the culprits and make recommendations to the government.
You indicated that they will have about 4 months to conclude their sittings and deliberations and submit a report that this government will then study and see what lessons will be taken from there. This also helps to free up time in our judiciary system, because when this kind of thing is done, it prevents communities from dragging themselves into litigation through courts so that things are settled out of court.
Governor Obiano is understandably unhappy with these clashes. He wants the panel to recommend measures to end the crisis in the communities and set a template that will be used to prevent recurrence of such crises in other communities.
Your assignment, of course, you can invite whoever you think that is relevant to give you the correct position, and I expect the report to be well detailed to enable us act to ensure that there's peace in those brotherly communities.
Justice Anibogu promises the governor that he and his team will deliver.
We believe that the call of these services are called to serve God and humanity. And our simple pledge that by the grace of God will perform our duties credibly.
The governor goes on to assure the panel of government support, but wants them to complete the task within the stipulated 4-month period.
Next on the news at 10, the federal government plans a grand reception for Team Nigeria athletes after a successful outing at the 2016 Paralympic Games in Rio de Janeiro. That's on Sports News. Please stay with us.